As we show you live shots now coming from the Naiya. This is shots of the Saudi Airlines commercial flight. It has been isolated on the runway of Naiya 1. This is what we have so far. Reports are saying that 20 miles before landing, the MIAA received an advice from the control tower that Saudi Airlines flight, its flight SV-872, was under threat. The MIAA, together with the PNP Aviation Group and Saudi Airline executives, are already on site. Airport officials are now implementing standard operating procedures in accordance with airport emergency plans. Again, we're showing you live shots now coming from the Naiya, where a Saudi Airlines commercial flight is now being held in total isolation on one of its runway there. There is a PNP anti-hijacking unit in the area. Airport officials are also now implementing standard operating procedures in accordance with airport emergency plans. We also know that the MIAA, together with the PNP Aviation Group and Saudi Airline executives, are already on site. Once again, live shots now coming from one of the runways there at the Naiya. Earlier reports have it that is runway number 6. We're looking at shots of the Saudi Airlines commercial flight. This is flight SV-872. It has been isolated on the runway of Naiya. Earlier reports had it that this flight landed at about 3 in the afternoon today and was put on total isolation in one of the runways, as reports say that 20 miles before landing, the MIAA received an advice from the control tower that this Saudi Airlines flight, it is flight SV-872, was under threat. MIAA, together with the PNP Aviation Group and the Saudi Airline executives, are already on site. We're also being told that airport officials are now implementing standard operating procedures in accordance with airport emergency plans. We're now being told that this flight came from Jeddah. And we're trying to get some of our correspondents as well as airport officials to give us more details into this developing story this afternoon. We're showing you live shots now coming from runway number 6. This is our initial information that we're getting now from the field. This is runway number 6 at the Naiya, where a Saudi Airlines commercial flight is now being held in total isolation. That is that airplane that we're seeing right now. We are being told that this flight came from Jeddah. Reports say that some 20 miles before landing, airport authorities received an advice from the control tower that this Saudi Airlines flight SV-872, was under threat. The MIAA, together with the PNP Aviation Group and Saudi Airlines executives, are already on site. And once again, airport officials are now implementing standard operating procedures in accordance with airport emergency plans. Again, we're showing you these live shots, and reports are still sketchy, but this is what we know so far, that this flight was arriving from Jeddah and it landed at about 3 this afternoon. Shortly after, we here in the newsroom got reports that this Saudi Airlines commercial flight has been placed on total isolation, on the runway of Naiya 1. We're being told that this runway is runway number 6. Reports are also saying that some 20 miles before landing, the MIAA received an advice from the control tower that Saudi Airlines flight SV-872 was under threat. The MIAA, together with the PNP Aviation Group and Saudi Airline executives, are already on site. Airport officials are now implementing standard operating procedures in accordance with emergency plans. Okay, we now have on the line our correspondent Ginger Conejero. We believe Ginger is there at the Naiya. She's going to tell us more about what's happening there as we speak. Ginger, what's the situation there?
Well, Carmina, everything that you just mentioned more or less pretty much everything that we know as of this point. Everything that has been coming in has been preliminary information, the initial information that we're getting out of sources from the airport, from airport authorities. I am here at the departure area of NAIA Terminal 1, where you have quite a vantage point of the Saudi Airlines flight that has been taken into an isolated space here at Terminal 1. Now, as you mentioned, this flight has been, taken away from the other terminals in the area, in the main airport area. It is set aside towards towards the right of the airspace, or the field rather, and as I'm looking at it now, there are a number of vehicles that are within its vicinity. There are also 3 buses. I saw them as well pulling in earlier. Those buses seem to be on standby. We don't know exactly what for. As of now, we're looking at 3 buses and the number of vehicles that have situated itself along close to this Saudi airline flight. As you mentioned as well earlier, according to airport sources, they are implementing a emergency plan 4 that corresponds to dealing with a hijacking of sorts. Nonetheless, we don't know that. We don't know that for sure. Can't say that exactly for sure, and it makes sense, Carmina, to be very careful with what is the information that is released at this point. Not only in this situation, but in other sensitive situations, we see that authorities can be very careful. We can only know that is the emergency plan that they are implementing at this point. Carmina?
All right, Ginger, we're showing them our viewers live pictures now, and we can see that at the belly of the plane there are people there. We're not too sure if these are police personnel. We're not too sure how many they are, but from where you're at, what's the activity that you're seeing?
Carmina, if I could just interrupt you there. There seems to be a number of vans that are pulling into the area as well. That's in the arrival level. There are 4 police trucks, 2 vans actually, and a Nova and another vehicle that is now entering the tarmac area. We just saw them pull into the arrival level. So that would be stairs from where I'm standing right now. They're not necessarily making their way towards if I can correct myself there, the sirens are going off, and they seem to be headed towards the direction where the airplane is, of course, taking kind of the outer route to get to where this isolated plane is at the moment. I'm trying to keep my eye on them as they make their way onto the tarmac here, trying to get a better vantage view. There seem to be a number of people also that it began to gather. There you go, Carmina. I'm looking at, there are 4 vehicles. I don't know if you can see them just yet, but they will be seen maybe with a live shot relatively soon. And they are making their way.
We're seeing them.
The number of vehicles.
Yes, we're seeing
the number of vehicles. And those were police vehicles that have enter the tarmac.
Now, as to the people under the belly of the plane, Ginger, we're seeing a number of them. Are these police officers? And we can't seem to make out what exactly they're doing there. Is the picture clear from where you're at?
I'm sorry, if you could just repeat that last part, Carmina. I wasn't able to.
We're seeing people under the belly of the plane. We're not too sure who they are. We can't make out the picture quite that well. We do want to know who these people are and what exactly they're doing there as we speak, Ginger.
Okay. I actually, from that vantage point, from my vantage point, rather, it doesn't seem like I can make out who those personalities are that are under the belly of that plane. There seems to be someone actually as of now from the airport. Hi, hello, addressing the media and maybe answering some of those questions. We have not gotten a chance to speak. We have our other reporter, our other correspondent, Adrian Ayalin, is talking to him as of now, and I think they're going through a little bit of the explanation here as to what is going on. I'm listening in and also trying to relay that information to you. as well.
Ginger, let me just cut you there.
They're making the distinction that it's being isolated. We can't jump to the conclusion as to the degree of threat that this situation entails. But this isn't the plane has been taken into isolation. Yes. Yes, Carmina.
Ginger, are authorities there saying as much as to how many passengers are still on board?
That we will. From what we received earlier, we received the flight information as soon as it became confirmed that was the flight. That was a flight that was isolated. We've not gotten a head count as to how many passengers are on board. That will be something immediately that is understandably of concern, and we'll get back to you. I'm kind of waiting for one of the airport authorities here to get off the phone as well, so we can ask these questions. It's really just now that there's now a police motorcycle here. There's someone from the airport, representative from the airport here to answer questions and speak.
All right, thanks a lot.